Video 13. I was on my knees and I was doing this repair to a section of pipe when I felt this breeze blow by my ear. I heard this loud explosion, water gushing up 50 feet in the air, and I jumped back and I looked up and I could see where the water path was going, and there was a dent in the tree branch above. I had dodged death by just a few inches, and here's the rest of the story. So here's the setup. I was working at the same place I was in video one, the place that had the $800 bid for a couple of pressure regulators instead of fixing a toilet flapper for $15. Anyway, this is the large ranch house, Frank Lloyd Wright-style, and it's on 3 acres. And I'm out there doing some work. Everything in this place is a larger scale than the typical residential home, which I had my initial trainings on. So I'm working on this piece of pipe, and it's 2 inch. It's irrigation pipe. It's PVC Schedule 40, and I'm repairing a riser coming out of the ground, and it's shooting 90 degrees horizontal. And I've got a coupling on one side and a 90 over here, and I've got it primered, sanded, primered, glued with the glue that's fast setting, says good to 160 PSI in 30 minutes. Well, I waited the 30 minutes and I went and turned on the water slowly, so not to create a hammer effect, just slowly turn on the main. And I get back up to the top of the hill and I'm working along the side of the driveway. And this is what happens. I've decided it's been, a few minutes since I turned the water on. Everything's okay. I decided, well, it might be time to just go ahead and bury the pipe, fill the trench in. And I'm doing this. And this loud explosion happens. Can't even make it a noise that loud with my mouth. And this piece of pipe just missed my temple here and goes up and hits the tree as this hydrant of water comes shooting up, flooding everything, getting me soaking wet. I see the dent in the tree branch. I think right away, wow, I just escaped death. I almost didn't make it home today. So I run off and turn off the water. And I look down there, and sure enough, my piece of pipe landed 50 feet away, but there was clean pipe on both ends. And I was like, wow, I read the instructions. I followed them to the law. But I mean, this is a bigger property, and the pressure must be exceeding the CAN recommendations. So I didn't have a pressure gauge on there at the time. I didn't take a pressure reading in advance. I just trusted what was on the can. So I looked at the can and read it again. I double checked it, and it was standard. It wasn't the red hot that they have that's really fast, but it was, standard setup, clean your pipe, do the primering, do all these things and follow the rules. And it did that and allow 30 minutes for 160 PSI. Okay, so I did that right. What I didn't know was that pressure from that city in that Rancho Santa Fe district was over 160 PSI for the irrigation side. And this is probably why the house had two pressure regulators for two different water systems. And those brass pressure regulators back then, they're pretty expensive. They can cost you as much as $800 to change out both of them. So I'm looking at this and say, okay, I've got to do more research. And I ended up finding out that when I talked to a couple of plumbing experts for larger irrigation, I said, you need to use a heavy-bodied, strong glue. Because actually, if you understand PVC pipe, when you put glue on it, you're not really gluing the pipe together. You're melting the PVC with the solvent, and then the PVC solvent then hardens, and you're basically bonding PVC to PVC. But in this particular case, you need a heavy-bodied, slow set, wait extended period of time, like 2 hours, overnight preferred, but I waited 2 hours. No, I waited the whole day. But what I also did is I put in some some stakes, some lumber, and I braced it from being able to come up because this was the whole thing. Your water's coming this way, it's shooting up, it's bending the arm and popping the coupling loose here. So I had to stop this force with some staking and bracing. So from then on, I learned that that's what the standard procedure needed to be, not only by a heavier bodied, stronger glue, but also do the bracing as required. Keep big pipes from blowing up and nearly killing you. So this could have been life and death, but it turned out to just be me soaking wet and a little deaf in one ear. Oh my gosh. So yeah, and it was also an adrenaline moment because you're going, whoa, I gotta turn the water off. Whoa, what just happened? The 90-degree elbow I had just glued was gone. Well, as I said, it was 50 feet away. Small section of pipe and the coupling were ripped completely off. The existing pipe in the ground was just sitting there, all pretty and clean. So here's the problem. I trusted the can. I read the instructions and trusted the can. It sounded like it was written, or the descriptions and instructions were written from experience. But the can just assumed that I was working with standard water pressure. And it also assumed that I had normal standard temperature and humidity. And those weren't too bad because it was a cool day in Southern California, not too humid. But my actual conditions were that I had much higher than 160 PSI. And it was 2-inch pipe, so that's more surface area for the glue to bond. More surface area meant not quite as tight of a bond. And the 90-degree, like I said, needed to be braced from upward pressure. The other thing about 90-degree pipes is the water wants to go straight. You know, kinetic force, motion, objects in motion want to go straight. When you have to make it turn, the amount of pressure that it takes on that radius elbow to get that water to turn is incredible. I don't want to give you the physics of it, but that's why you have to use a stronger glue and you have to temporarily brace it until the bonds between the two PVC pieces actually melts and then re-hardens. 30 plus years in the business and I'm still learning. That day, a piece of PVC pipe almost killed me because I trusted what the can said. So if you need a contractor that learns from close calls and over-engineers for safety, someone who doesn't just follow instructions but thinks about what could go wrong, and you're in the Glen Rose or Granbury or Pecan Plantation, then check out MrFixer.com. That's MrPhixer.com. Thank you. And if you like these videos, please subscribe. And I'm trying to keep them coming out one every Wednesday. So I hope you enjoyed it.